Okay guys, this is in the second part I was just writing code about the validation. You know, just the basic validation, making sure these values, that whatever user enter something into text box, if it doesn't enter, I'm going to return false. And I'm going to do basic regular expression validation. My regex or something, whatever you like as your variable name. Just define some basic validation here, regular expression validation. This starts with something and end with something, right? We want it to be it could have any, let's say user can enter anything that is a uppercase or lowercase or something like this. This means a range, you know, at least enter some characters in there. Okay, now I have my regular expression is defined, and then now I can say, alright, if regex states the name of variable, I'm going to do a test, because this I'm going to pass the parameter that comes in from, that's my country code value. If this pass means, you know, at least user have entered something that is, I like it, I mean he has entered this text. Right now is not even allowing the number. Return true. Otherwise, if the fallback, just return false, right? Okay, this is our method. Basic validation is all done. Okay, now I have, you know, using now as you can see, as we progress the refactoring, now we have a module to get the data called data provider. We have an input validator. What goes in here, this method is not important to us, but the how to, you know, basically start with the RequireJs, that is important. So that's, you know, whatever we do here, you can write all validation whichever way you like. And of course, inside this module, this method is private, so we have to, you know, return that to the color as a object, right? So we're going to say that and is valid search, or something like that. I'm just going to return underscore is. Okay, now we have written two different modules. So because all the logic pertaining to or related to, for example, validation related module, or logic is inside the validation, you know, in the validation module. Data access is inside data access. Well, even though right now all of them in one file, but in the you know, as we progress, I'll show you, you know, how to have all of them in their one files. But we'll go one step at a time. And just a reminder, guys, this video is intended for the people who are just trying to learn RequireJs or RequireJs. It's not really intended for people who, you know, who use RequireJs regularly. Okay, having said that, now we have two modules defined. Let's go ahead and define other module also. Now we will have huge block of code for data binding, which I will be copying from the other module that we have already. Let's go ahead and define one more module. As you can see here in our original code, so this bind view function was responsible for binding the result once the data comes out, right? So I'm going to put all this logic also into its one a module. Okay, that's the next thing I'm going to do. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and define a new module. Define the name of my module, right, and dependency and callback function. Right now, you know, everybody, you might be familiar with this pattern. Let's give it a name, because that's I would say a data view binder. That's what it is. It will be bind the data coming out from, and it will have dependency with the jQuery. Boom, and then specify this here. Okay. Behind the scene, it will be doing all the logic, right, that this method does, right, bind views. So I'm gonna, for now, I'm gonna grab this logic from here and basically let me collapse this guy. This guy is doing so many things, but I will not be doing like that. Let me go ahead and copy this one into this. Okay, this code is pretty simple. I'll just basically explain to you what's really going on here. So what this method would be doing right here, I'm going to say bind view equals to bind views. Make these guys private as a convention. Okay. So right now, just think about this. This guy gets a array object as an input parameter. This is the first thing, making sure the array that data that's coming in contains length. And then of course to be able to understand this jQuery code, basically we have to look into our markup. This is all we have. This is the div. That is our first section right here. In there we have a button here, this and the button, and when this one is clicked, of course we'll have a grid. We'll be displaying the grid, and all those data would be computed, is evaluated using jQuery. That's what this is all I have for the markup. I have a div with a given ID, and then I have a table, and I have some right here some bootstrap classes, just to look so that it looks like a table, ugly table. Anyway, that is all I have in the markup. In here, I'm just basically, by default it is hidden, the container is hidden. I might make sure it is. If there is a data coming in, means like when somebody calls with giving me a data, I'll make sure there is data in. If there is data, I have to show that container, so I'll make sure that container is visible. And this table, on each iteration, the table, previous content of the table will be emptied out. And behind the scene, I'll just create it using plain vanilla JavaScript. I created table row and table cell. On each cell, I basically append the header and all those information. And then, because this is my array, so I'm using jQuery on each iteration, as long as there is data in the array, keep on looping this one, right? Keep on looping on this one, and on each iteration creates a more row and more cell right here, and into that inject into the inner HTML the code, the name, all those things. Very simple JavaScript code. I'm not going to go over in detail. And as before, this is a private. If I want to give access this logic to some outside world, I will have to expose this one into bind view. Okay, so okay, that is that. Now we have a view that can bind data coming in into our view, into our markup. We have the module that provides the data, and we have a module that validates the data. It's coming along, even though right now it looks kind of ugly in one page, everything in one. but it has its own module. I mean, like, there is no we are basically following the single